Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Oh, looks like I'm live now. I haven't been live on Facebook, or I haven't really done this in a long time. So, happy Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It is snowy and blowy where I am today, so I hope everybody is staying safe, staying warm. I hope everybody's drive wasn't awful. So, today, as I had mentioned, I will be moving my Menstrual Mondays kind of here. Oh, hold on. Just trying to see if I can see comments here. Oh. Sorry. Okay. So I wanted to pop on. I wanted to move Menstrual Monday sessions here because I wanted a little bit of a different platform for you guys to be able to see this, to be able to rewatch it in a spot where you can find it again and watch it and all the things. So first things first, I want to give some updates to my Her Time of the Month members. So I have gotten, for those of you who don't know, I have a membership. It's called Her Time of the Month. It is a monthly membership where I discuss women's health information. We do webinars and sessions. We do recipe booklets. I give newsletters. Basically, I'm just giving you information and tools to start really tackling your health. Now, I don't know if anyone knows this, but I built the website, or I built the platform that it's on myself, and I am no tech genius here, so it's been a little bit of a grind. And so I got some feedback asking about the program, asking about the functionality of the website, and I got some really, really great feedback, and I'm making some big changes to Her Time of the Month going forward. So here's what's going to happen. I am officially moving it to something that is a better platform for just a better user experience. I want you to be able to know where to log in, where to go for your content, and how to work through the material. Because if it's a poor user experience, you're not going to want to log in. So that's the first big change I'm making. Please be patient with that because it is. It's a work in progress. So first thing is I'm moving Her Time of the Month to a better platform. So anybody who is in that right now, all of my members, if you signed up for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever you signed up for or whatever you have in Her Time of the Month, I'm going to honor that when we move to the new program. So you'll get kind of a reset. Those who have had 3 months will have an additional 3 months, 6 months, an additional 6 months, 12 months, an additional 12 months. So that's what I'm honoring for you guys. And then after that, after you're done your 3 month, 6 month section, I will offer you a 50% discount on the pricing for the remainder of the program. And so how I'm changing Her Time of the Month is I'm making it more of a sequential program. And so instead of having Her Time of the Month be just a topic, a one-off topic, and one-off information and one-off diet stuff, I want to make it more of a process. I want to make it the goal of it is to go through women's health of all ages. So I want to make sure, as you know, I focus on period problems and fertility, but beyond that, you're going to move through life stages past period problems. And so once you fix your period problems and say you're ready for preconception and fertility, I want to make sure that this program is able to move you through that. Or once your period problems are fixed and you've had your kids and you want to help move through perimenopause and menopause, I want to make sure you can do that as well. If you have thyroid issues, if you're looking for health optimization, if you're looking to lose weight, I want the program to move you through that. And so the point of Her Time of the Month program is it's a 12-month program. Now, you do not have to do it over 12 months, but there's going to be 12 modules that are going to work you through the foundations of health. Now, who is this for? Like I said, this is meant for women of all ages and stages because I want you to build the foundations for hormonal health. It is not like my period passport program is specifically for women with period problems. This is more of a foundational and maintenance program. So what I mean by that is that women who have never worked with me, who are just looking to build the foundations of health, each month they'll get a module which walks them through that stage of health that they're in, and they'll get a workbook to download. They'll get a full 1 week diet plan so that each month you are given those tools to walk you through the stages of health. Now, like I said, there's going to be 12 modules. Now, the first time I'm running it, which is going to be now, I'm going to run it once a month. But going forward, you'll have access to those 12 modules when you pay for the program, so you can do it at any point in time. But if you have never worked with me and you want to start working through wherever you're at in your life to kind of build the foundations of health and hormonal balance, that's what this program will be for. If you have already worked with me and you're at a good place where you're kind of thinking, okay, what's next for me? I want to optimize my health. Then the program will also assist with that. So that is the reason that I'm changing her time of the month, is I want there to be more of a pathway and more of a purpose to what we're doing and how we're moving through the content. And so instead of just saying, okay, this month is this topic and this month is this topic, I want to walk you through certain topics to give you actionable steps that you can actually take part in for the next month. And so, like I had said at the beginning, anyone who's in my program, my members community right now, in terms of a Her Time of the Month current member, I'm going to add you and honor the amount of time that you've already been there. So like I said, if you had 3 months, you'll get 3 months in the program, 6 months and 12 months respectively. Now it is a 12-month program, so if you already paid for 12 months of Her Time of the Month membership, or you have a year membership, you will get access to the entire program over the next 12 months. So that is that. Included in the program, like I said, monthly modules where we're going to walk you through a foundation of health. You're going to get a workbook or downloadable piece that will walk you through the curriculum. And so I'm going to post in this group what the curriculum looks like once I have it set up completely. I'm just working out a few kinks, but I've basically created a curriculum that will walk you through hormonal health. Whether you're looking for more energy, whether you're looking to just optimize your health, prevent health, we're really going through everything from goal setting and mindset to sleep, stress, digestion, movement, mood, and brain health, breast and vaginal health, sex hormones, thyroid hormones, and everything in between. So you're really going to get a really solid understanding and actionable steps to really walk you through what foundational health looks like. So that's what Her Time of the Month is happening, that's what's happening going forward. So I'm super, super excited to get it on a different platform and really roll out those pieces that are going to help move the needle in your health journey. In addition to that, you'll get emailed so if you are part of the membership, you'll get emailed your monthly challenges and monthly diet. So I've been doing recipe booklets. I'm leveling that up. We're going to be doing monthly 1 week meal plans. So I'm going to give you a 1 week meal plan every single month. That in itself is about an $80 value. So, you're definitely getting those value pieces. And then this group, I am, again, like I said, I'm hopping on to do Menstrual Mondays. I'm going to be doing grocery hauls. I'm going to be doing live Q&A sessions, which are going to be monthly. So if you are part of this group and you just want to be part of this free group and nothing else, that is cool. You can be part of our Menstrual Mondays. You can be part of my grocery hauls. You can be part of my Q&A sessions. That is no problem. If you want more, I'm going to post the curriculum so you have the opportunity to take action if you are looking to do so. If you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so starting with Menstrual Monday, let's talk about your thyroid hormones, testing that you need to get if you think you may have a thyroid issue. But I would actually go and say testing that you should get even if you don't know if you have a thyroid issue, because the only way to know is testing. Now, there are a lot of symptoms that can indicate you have a thyroid issue. That can be things like fatigue, hair loss, weight gain, trouble losing weight, trouble sleeping, period problems. So thyroid issues can cause heavy periods, absent periods, light periods. And so if you have period problems, then this is something you want to evaluate. You want to rule out your thyroid as an issue. If you are missing your period, thyroid is an issue or could be an issue. So you need to make sure that you are doing the proper evaluations, getting the proper testing so we know what we are treating. That is the biggest thing, is we cannot treat you if we don't know what's going on. You could have low energy, you could have depression, you could have trouble sleeping, dry skin, constipation, and think, oh wow, it's just my hormones. It is my high stress. But the only way to know that is to rule out other pieces. And one of those pieces is thyroid. So when I am treating my patients for period problems, weight loss, energy, I'm always looking at the thyroid. Now, I'm going to tell you why looking at TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone is not enough. Because what I see in practice is I see patients who come in and they'll tell me, I'll say, have you had your thyroid evaluated? And they will say, yep, my doctor looked at it. My thyroid is fine. And that's kind of that. So I want to clarify that it doesn't actually mean your thyroid is fine just because you have your TSH checked. Now, when we look at thyroid hormone testing, let's just think your thyroid is a little gland in your neck. It basically makes thyroid hormones, T3 and T4. And so what happens is basically TSH is the communication between the brain and the thyroid. It tells the thyroid make hormones or don't. We get this feedback from having our hormones. Now, there are other things that can impact our thyroid stimulating hormone feedback loop. And so we need to just be mindful of that. Things like stress can impact it. And so when we're looking at TSH, it doesn't really give us the whole picture. So we have TSH. TSH is telling our brain, make more hormones. So it goes to our thyroid, tells our thyroid to make hormones. Now, our thyroid makes a little bit of T3, which is our active thyroid hormone. This is what actually works on our tissues. And then it makes mostly T4, which is inactive. Now, the reason we make inactive thyroid hormone is because if we just dumped out active thyroid hormone every time we needed more hormones, we would just have a heart attack because our thyroid is our metabolism. And so it's going to deal with our nervous system. It's going to increase our heart rate. And so if every time your brain was like, okay, we need thyroid hormones, we dumped out a bunch of T3, we would be sweating, we would have palpitations, we would have diarrhea, like would not be good. So our body has a regulatory mechanism to deal with that. And that's basically making T4 and then converting it to T3 when we need it. Now, TSH, again, we're making a little bit of T3, but we're mostly making T4. So one of the problems I see is that conversion process is not great. Some people are just crappy converters. Now, why is this a problem? Because T3 is our active hormone. And so if we're just spitting out a bunch of T4, this may turn off that feedback loop, meaning TSH will be normal because we're making enough T4. But then when we actually look at T3 is actually low or lower than normal. Now in Canadian units, I like it to be over 4 for free T3, not total T3, free T3. I like it to be over 4 because some people will not convert very well. Why are they poor converters? Poor conversion can happen with lack of nutrients, things like magnesium, things like zinc, things like selenium, things like iodine, but also gut health. So if you have a crappy gut health, this can impact your conversion from inactive hormone T4 to active hormone T3. And so this is one of the things that we need to investigate when we are running TSH. Again, if we made T4 and we are shutting off that feedback loop, our body doesn't see the need to increase our TSH because our TSH is saying, we're all good. We made T4. We did our job. But once we get down to the next level of hormonal conversion, we find out that, we're not actually converting that T4 to T3, which can still lead to all of your symptoms of low thyroid. And this is one of the cases where your thyroid issues will be missed. Now, some people who have overt hypothyroidism, it's because their thyroid is not making enough T4. In my opinion, a lot of things have to happen before we get there. And so when we're only testing TSH, we're missing the whole picture and we're possibly not intervening at a point where we should be to prevent more change. Because sometimes we get to a point where your thyroid is kaput. It is done. It is no longer making T4 in the way we need it to. And then you're on thyroid medication for the rest of your life. So that's kind of the first piece. The second piece of the puzzle when we're looking at the thyroid is looking at, so let's say you are the type of person who is a poor converter. Now, not all people are poor converters, but this is why we're checking if you're a poor converter by testing free T3, free T4, and TSH. And so say your T4 comes up low. Your TSH is high, meaning you're hypothyroid. your free T4 is not high enough, and so your doctor gives you something called Synthroid. This is the most common medication, so it's known as Synthroid or levothyroxine. So you take that. The problem is if you're a poor converter, you're also not going to convert Synthroid because Synthroid is synthetic T4. So if your main problem, if the root cause of your thyroid issues is poor conversion to T3, you're going to take Synthroid and your T3 is still going to be low because you're still not branching that conversion. I'm going to recap. Converting your T4 to T3 requires things like magnesium, selenium, iodine, zinc. Lost my train of thought. So we need these to help conversion, but we also need to support our gut health. If your gut health is not good, if the microbiome is out of whack, if you're having digestive symptoms, this is the best way to know, but you could still have an imbalanced microbiome and have regular bowel movements. You only know you're normal, right? Some people have okay bowel movements, but to them it's like, oh, they're really, really great because that's all you've ever known. And so the microbiome does play a role. And so that's where women I see all the time, they're put on Synthroid, synthetic T4, and they say, I still feel crappy. I still don't feel good. My hair still doesn't feel thick. My energy is still so low. But we accept this because our doctor tells us, well, your TSH is within range, so that's normal. And so what happens, you take that synthetic T4, our body takes that as a signal, oh, we don't need to make more hormones. We have T4. Excuse me. And we shut off that feedback loop so our TSH no longer goes up or gets elevated. Now, the other thing that we're going to be missing is something known as subclinical hypothyroidism. So when we're measuring TSH, we're looking for it to be within the range. Now, let's just talk about the range. The range of TSH can be anywhere from 0 point whatever to about 5, depending on which lab you go to. It's like 4 something or 5. And so if you fall anywhere in that range, your doctor will say, oh, you're fine. And even I have patients who are flagged and it's a little bit over the range and they're still saying, oh no, you're fine. Because they also will run free T4. Again, most doctors will only run TSH and T4. And if those are within range, they're like, okay, no action needed here. So the piece we're missing, I've already mentioned, is free T3. The other last and final piece that we are missing when it comes to the thyroid is looking at antibodies. Now, there's 2 more pieces. So the first piece is antibodies. So what can happen is your body, for some reason or another, creates a reaction, an autoimmune reaction to your thyroid. So it's looking at your thyroid as a foreign entity. So something happened where it triggered you to have your thyroid become a foreign entity. Whether that was an illness, so a lot of times people who have a history of mono, so like Epstein-Barr virus is also known as mono, that can trigger a reaction to the thyroid because they say that the virus, Epstein-Barr virus, actually looks quite similar to things like the thyroid. And so we have these antibodies floating around. And so once our body gets used to those antibodies, it looks at our thyroid and says, this looks like Epstein-Barr virus. This is a problem. So that's one of the triggers. Sometimes it can be genetic. Sometimes it can be environmental. What I see a lot of times is hormonal. So women who just had a baby, postpartum thyroiditis, or they're just going through menopause. What'll happen is you have a baby, you end up having, like if you're a new mom or whatever, not a new mom, you're going to have these changes that happen once you have a baby. You might have anxiety, you might have postpartum depression. You may have had this with your first baby and you have another one, you have it again, and your doctor's kind of like, yeah, you have postpartum anxiety and depression. But what we're not ruling out is the presence of an autoimmune thyroid condition. A lot of patients I see will have just had a baby, they have extreme anxiety. Their doctor says, it's just postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression, and they've never checked their thyroid antibodies. Now, what happens, and this doesn't happen to everyone, so this is known when you have antibodies, this is known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So what happens is you make these antibodies. So I've given you a couple reasons why. Genetics, hormones, stress, illness can all be triggers for this. Then our body says, okay, our thyroid is a foreign entity. We must attack it. So we make all of these antibodies against our thyroid and we start attacking our thyroid. Then what happens as a result? Now, we can have a couple things. First thing happens is we spill out all of the hormones that we have. And so our thyroid will start spilling out a bunch of hormones. Now, what happens? Our thyroid regulates our metabolism. So with that spill out, we may have symptoms like heart palpitations, sweating, anxiety, loose stool, a lot of symptoms that really emulate anxiety, a lot of symptoms that can be a heart issue. And so what happens is these women will go tell their doctor, so they've just had a baby, they'll go tell their doctor, all of a sudden I have palpitations, I'm sweating, I have night sweats, I feel like my hair is falling out. Well, doesn't that sound like postpartum plus anxiety? And so really they say, oh, you just have postpartum anxiety, go home. Or they might say, let's put on a Holter monitor and see how your heart is. Now, they'll do that over 24 hours and they'll say, you know what, your heart is fine. It's not a heart issue. This is anxiety. And maybe they'll give you anxiety medication. Maybe they'll send you a therapist. Whatever the case may be, we've chalked it up to anxiety. Now, picture this in a woman who's just going through menopause. We have sweating. We have these night sweats. We have hair loss. Maybe we have weight gain. Maybe we have palpitations. Well, this sounds a lot like menopause. And so you'll go to your doctor and you'll say, these are my symptoms. And they'll say, you know what? Your periods are irregular. It sounds like you're probably just going through menopause. We chalk it up to menopause. We may get some anxiety medication. We may see a therapist. We move on, and we've never checked the thyroid. Now, this stage doesn't happen in everyone, but I do see it happen. And a lot of times it happens at these times in your life where you are also going through something else. So you also might be going through menopause. You also might have just had a baby. You might have just had a really bad illness or whatever the case may be. But what happens is only 50% of women will go through that stage. 50% of the time, half the time, your thyroid will just return back to normal. Now, that doesn't mean your antibodies go away. But then what happens, typically what I see in practice is long term, we go into a hypothyroid state. And so what we see in lab tests is we see fluctuating TSH. So if you are on Synthroid and you always go for your blood work and it's always fluctuating, like your doctor's kind of like, oh, we'll change your dose here. Or why is your TSH high here? What I've seen is having a really swinging pendulum of TSH. So the doctor will test TSH, it's like 0.45, and then it goes up to 12, and then it comes back down to 5, and then it goes up to 10, because those antibodies are intermittently attacking your thyroid. And so that's typically what happens. And then we're left, usually if it's never been investigated, we're left in a state of hypothyroidism. So this is an underactive thyroid. We have weight gain, fatigue, we might have mood issues, we might have hair loss, we might just feel low energy in general, low motivation, low drive, dry skin, constipation, or other digestive issues. These are things we see long term. So having said all of that, testing your antibodies will give us a really good direction, because from a conventional medical standpoint, there is not a ton we can do for antibodies, but there is a ton we can do from a naturopathic, holistic, functional perspective when it comes to antibodies. And the last piece of the puzzle is reverse T3. Now, reverse T3 basically takes our active T3 and holds it hostage so we cannot use it properly. There's a lot of factors that can contribute to that. One of them I see a lot is high stress. And so making sure that your body is not making that T3 and then holding it all so we can't use it is an important part of evaluating the thyroid fully. So that's the thyroid testing that you should have done. Again, to wrap up, you're looking for TSH, free T3, free T4, and antibodies, as well as reverse T3 if you can. Your doctor can run this, but a lot of doctors will not run a full panel. So it can be a little bit of a tricky situation. If you have questions, please comment below this video. Again, if you have questions about her time of the month, please let me know. Like I said, you can watch this video again to kind of recap the changes, but I'm super, super excited for the changes that are happening in her time of the month over the next 12 months. It's going to be awesome. We have our webinar on Saturday, this coming Saturday. I'm doing it at 9:30 a.m. I'm switching it up. I'm doing it a Saturday morning. So we are doing our webinar. It is all about pelvic health, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infections, UTIs, you name it, we're talking about it. So please, if you want to register for that, if you cannot make Saturday morning, that is cool. But I am inviting everyone here. You don't have to be a paid member of Her Time of the Month. You are invited to come to this webinar. It's going to be live, but if you register, you can watch the replay. So I will post the link below if you want to join. Again, enjoy your Monday, stay safe, and I will hop on here soon.